And I thought that was a very sensitive, sweet thing to do, Jake. And of course, if you remember, I said, right on. And so I knew that the announcement was going to be forthcoming, but I waited. 1 week passed, and then another, and another number. Soon it was mid-October, and there was like no word, no evidence, nothing. I wondered, had he changed his mind? Had he asked Kara? Had Kara spurned him and turned him down?
No, sir.
More weeks passed without a hint, a breath, from either Kara or Jake. Zach and Molly had a party in Wisconsin for her friends and her family friends. And then in November, we're talking 2 months after the permission was granted to ask my daughter to marry him. In November, there was a bigger celebration. Most of you know where it was. Was that the Varsity? Yeah. A huge deal. Still, there wasn't a whisper, not a rumor, not a hint. That joyous weekend, and it truly was joyous, ended with a brunch at our sister's, Kathleen's home, and there, Jake and Kara finally announced their engagement. To everyone's sigh of relief and to everyone's thrill. So, now that you know about that part, I want to talk a little bit about Kara's childhood. You know, Kara loved every living creature. No bug was too small to examine or collect. In retrospect, it was as if the good Lord had called her directly and said, Kara, skip the big boat, start collecting all things that move. It started with goldfish, with guppies, hermit crabs. Then every spring we had to go to the farm co-op store, and there we had to purchase a bunny or two, or duck eggs, or chicken eggs, so that they could incubate them. Yeah, you know, these little chickies, these little ducklings, these little bunny rabbits, they were very, very cute. Very attractive, especially to some of the neighboring raccoons.
Every year.
Every year, the raccoons came to pillage and rape. So, 1 year after a really especially large batch of ducklings, we faced the dilemma of what to do with these ducklings. You know, you don't just put a little baby mallard duckling on Lake Minnetonka because that's like an appetizer for a muskie, right? After quick calculations, I came up with a great idea, I thought. So we all piled into the minivan and headed for the zoo in Apple Valley. We found the back entrance that was marked for employees and deliveries only. I announced at the gate that the mallards had arrived. I pulled in, then I grabbed the large cardboard box and handed it to the first employee I saw, and before that employee could respond, I hopped back into the van and peeled out of the driveway as fast as I could. The first zoo caper was an ultimate success. Kara befriended mammals and reptiles, birds, fish, from ferrets to Ducky, the Amazonian green parrot. God, we were so glad to get rid of Ducky. Hamsters and mice. Even frozen mice that she used to feed.
Eden, who's no longer with us.
She said these frozen mice embryos or whatever they were to snakes. And God knows what. We had cats and dogs and cockatoos and cockatiels. We had corn snakes. We had garter snakes. We had hog-nosed snakes. I mean, did it ever stop? No, it didn't stop. We had the was it tofu? The
Tofu lives.
Tofu, the bearded dragon lives. Okay, I'm really happy to report that to all of you tonight. There were geckos, there were tarantulas, and there were green tree frogs of every color and size. Oh, so many critters were there at that house that I finally set down the law.
Yeah.
No new